Now, the play being discussed this morning is obscene and disgraceful. Casual sexual activity is being normalised. It is a disgrace. Charlotte McIver should be utterly ashamed of herself, says one texter. And someone who agrees as well towards that line is Martina Burke, who joins us on the show now this morning. Martina, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you indeed for joining us, Martina. You got in touch with us to say that you saw the play, The Kinds of Sex You Might Have at College, recently when it was performed at GMIT in Castlebar, and you were quite shocked at the content. Isn't that right?
I was and I wasn't. I mean, I expected it to be that way, but I wanted just to see myself.
Yeah.
And I might say I was alarmed that the chaplain, Daniel Caldwell, was promoting this and was present. That was a big shock to me because it was laced with vulgar language. The FU word was running right through it. There were very explicit sex scenes. It was just not savoury. And there weren't many people there.
Okay.
I got the impression a class came in. But I did notice round about me, there were young people that weren't happy with it, I could see.
Now, did you hear Charlotte there in the last few moments speaking about the play?
I just heard the last bit. I didn't really...
Okay, no problem. Well, in relation, to what they're trying to achieve, can you understand where they're coming from and what the message they're trying to drive home to people? The text said they're normalising casual sex. That's not where they're coming from at all. It's about informing people, because there is a problem in this country where enough people aren't informed about sex in a proper way. And certainly when they go into college and they go up into their adult years, they're not informed enough from a younger age. Would you agree with that?
Well, the point I suppose I would like to draw attention to this morning is that what Charlotte and her co-workers are promoting would not be the Christian view of sex. And that's very important for people to understand, that they're coming from a totally different viewpoint. That would be the humanistic viewpoint, that there's no God, there's no absolute, there's no right and wrong.
Yeah.
So if I believe that, Michael, then I would promote, do whatever you want, just as long as you enjoy it, be careful, get consent. But that isn't a Christian viewpoint.
It may not be a Christian viewpoint, Martina, but it's something that does happen in college, whether we like it or not. Young people are having sex. And the way to do it is you have to inform them about how to do it in a safe environment.
The point is, though, that the population at large is still very sympathetic to traditional Christian beliefs. Now, this is a radical transformation of education in pursuit of a private agenda. It's coming from a humanistic viewpoint and is extremely dangerous. Now, Charlotte, I just heard at the end there, and she did mention in a negative way, I thought, pornography. But she didn't disclose that her worker, the person who asked her to do this play in the first place, Padraig MacNeela, he has just published his paper on pornography, and he studies it. He studies pornography, and he wants it to be he advocates it to be part of the curriculum for young people.
We don't know that ourselves. We'll have to check that.
He wants that.
Okay.
I have the paper. It was on the it's available, and he wants young people to be educated in pornography. Now, Charlotte didn't tell the Midwest listeners that. He studies pornography. Charlotte and Kate Dawson, they're up there. They're studying pornography. I mean, a lot of people don't have a job in this country. But they're getting a fine salary to study pornography. And not only relishing it themselves, they want the young people of our country to be forced to study pornography. And I think that's very sad. I'm a teacher myself.
Yeah.
I taught hundreds of young people. It's abuse of young people. And I believe it's an assault on childhood. And the most important thing, it's anti-Christian. You see,
if you were shocked by something like this, Martina...
Yeah.
The title of the play, The Kinds of Sex You Might Have at College, is a bit like Ron Seal. It does what it says in the tin. You wouldn't go to something like that.
I would go to it to find out, because see, the big problem is, Michael, parents don't know what's happening. She comes on and she's very concerned for young people, and she's troubled that they're being raped and whatever.
But do you admit that there needs to be something done?
It was a promotion, Michael.
Yeah.
It was a promotion of every type of sexual. It was animal morality, really. It was everything is acceptable. She didn't mention group sex. Group sex is fun. That was what came across in the play. Group sex and others that I wouldn't like to mention.
What
it's not savoury.
After you watched the play, did you approach anyone there? Did you make your feelings heard? What was the feeling from the rest of the people that are there in the room watching it with you?
There weren't an awful lot, and I didn't, because I got on air. I contacted radio stations, which is the most important thing to do. I think it's parents that are missing from this debate, and parents, their children are the most important possessions, in a sense, in their lives. And this is extremely serious, because there's a strong link between early sexual activity and depression and suicide. This is what research shows. This is what Charlotte and Padraig MacNeela are not telling us.
But Martina, do you agree that people... Martina, the question I'm going to ask you directly is, do you agree that more needs to be done to educate people about sex? Young people need to be educated.
No, I don't. I believe...
You think it's fine the way it is?
No, I believe that the Padraig MacNeela, Charlotte and others, coming down from the top, I suppose, Catherine's opponent, she's put 400,000 into the promotion of LGBTI plus in schools. There's a hierarchy of activists. No, I don't, because I believe in the Christian way. It's the best. I have 10 children myself. They're all happy, healthy, full of life. They were brought up in the Christian way. And the Apostle Paul tells us it is shameful even to mention what they do. Now, on the contrary, Padraig MacNeela and Charlotte want us to keep talking about it so that our young people will be obsessed with sex and destroyed and lose any Christian belief. The Christian belief is that you flee those things. Woe unto him that causes a little one to sin. Yeah. This is called sin in the Christian church.
Okay, I'm afraid we're all out of time, Martina. We have to take our news at the top of the hour. Thank you indeed for joining us.